Hello beautiful people, happy weekend. So today is Saturday, the day I'm recording this video. I don't know when exactly I'll have a time to post it. I hope today, but if not, then today is Saturday. So I'm going to speak about a few things. So first and foremost, yesterday we had this beautiful water trine, grand water trine activated because the sun sextile north node, and at the same time, of course, it trined the south node that is currently in the sign of Scorpio. And that activated the grand water trine, which is between Sun in Cancer, South Node in Scorpio, and Saturn in Pisces. And this is really important because of everything else that's happening in the sky right now. So tomorrow, on Sunday, we'll have Mercury squaring Neptune almost exactly from the same point as we had this new moon in Gemini. It's only 1 degree off. This is on 27 degrees, and the new moon happened on a 26. And this is quite fascinating to me, which again is taking us back to this new moon that happened last week, what has become activated for us. Now we have moon going through the sign of Virgo almost for the entire weekend. For some of us, it will move into the sign of Libra tomorrow already, and for others on Monday. But predominantly moon is traveling through the sign of Virgo this weekend, which is obviously squaring the point where this new moon happened, because it was in Gemini. So again, this is another breadcrumb on our journey, and then on Monday we'll have Mercury moving into the sign of Cancer, and at the same time we're going to have Mars squaring Uranus. And this is again first quarter square, again something that requires action. Same thing as tomorrow, this square between Mercury and Neptune is the first quarter square, something that requires action. So why am I going on in circles around all these transits is because something has been coming up for me through from my readings, especially in last couple of days, and I'm super grateful to my clients that they are attracted to me, and by divine guidance the readings are scheduled exactly when they scheduled, because they're giving me a beautiful insight about what these energies are trying to tell us. So I had an experience where there was something in my client's life where which was frozen in time, like a trauma which was frozen in time, and many decades passed, and my client didn't even realize that this was something that needed healing, because it happened such a long time ago, and life happens and we just get on with things. And I feel that all these transits that are happening in the sky at the moment are pointing exactly to that. Like, what is it in our life which we overlook that is frozen in time, Saturn in Pisces, and needs our attention in order for us to move forward. And another thing that came up for me, I'm sorry, it's really hot in here. Another thing that came up for me was when we had Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, all the positive aspects that were happening between Pluto and other planets were, of course, from the masculine dominated signs, like the young energy, which was either the air or the fire. Well, of course, apart from the opposition to Leo, but it's still the point of integration. But now that Pluto moved back into the sign of Capricorn, the positive aspects are happening again from the feminine side. So this is again something which I feel that once Pluto moves into Aquarius, which we had the flavor of for 3 months between March and now, when Pluto was, dipping its toe in Aquarius on a 0 degree. And this was the energy of the upcoming times, started predominantly from the next year, where we will have to take more action, become more proactive, and think on our feet, wanting to self-actualize, like widen our, expand our way we think and expand our belief systems, all this. But I feel before that happens now, because of the energy moving, shifting, and things are now back into yin signs, like Pluto especially, and Pluto is the centerpiece. So Pluto is back in Capricorn, which is a feminine energy, is a earth sign, and also the nodes, for another month only, but they are still in a feminine signs, in Taurus, which is earth, and in Scorpio, which is water. These are all feminine sides. So what is coming to me is that in order to move into this Aquarian age and be, proactive and all that, we really have to still stay within this yin energy, despite the fact that we are already actualizing on this, which is coming to us through our intuition and through our body, through our somatic experience. So I feel that right now, this year, that's why I keep mentioning that this year is a transitional year, because these energies are all like meshed up. It's all like back and forth, because we have this like desire to go forward and self-actualize, especially now with Mars being in a sign of Leo, which just wants to do already, like we want to change things, like already, like let's make change and let's start living this different kind of life. But there is this still this something that is holding us back, which is with the that's representing this Pluto going back into the sign of Capricorn for the rest of the year. And I mean, Pluto is still in retrograde until October 11th. And another thing is that these master numbers are popping up. Like Pluto moved back into the Capricorn on the 11th of June. It's going to stay retrograde until 11th of October. It's going to move back into Aquarius on the 22nd of January. So it's all these master numbers. So this again to me is indicating these breadcrumbs from the universe, where I feel that everything is happening exactly as it's supposed to. Like there is this divine intelligence that's guiding everything. There are all these energies streaming forward for us, and we have the opportunity to use them in whichever way we want to, really, because there is always the free will in play. Just as I said in my last video, the one I released 2 days ago, there is always a free will, and there is always a choice, which sometimes is not so clear, or sometimes we feel like the other choice is very difficult to even consider, but there always is a choice. And anyway, going back to these feminine energies, I really feel that in order to move towards this Pluto in Aquarius time of 20 years transit, and also all the other planets moving into masculine sign, because we're going to have Saturn and Neptune both moving from the sign of Pisces into the sign of Aries, which is masculine, is a fire. And we're going to have Uranus that is still currently in a sign of Taurus, moving into the sign of Gemini, which is again is air. And Uranus will be the ruler of Pluto for 20 years. And of course, Uranus will be moving during that period. It will not stay in Gemini for 20 years, but it will start with this masculine flavor. We have to shift the way we think. We have to shift the way we act, the way we interfere with this reality. Our belief system is completely shifting. There is this paradigm shift happening on a collective level and also in our individual lives. But I feel that for all this to be able to take place, we really have to go back in time and like literally have a look at what is it that hasn't been healed and integrated. And this is really the breadcrumbs I'm getting from the readings that I'm having with my clients. And I'm, again, so grateful that universe is allowing for this connection to happen, especially at the time, which is really divinely orchestrated. So I am getting a deeper understanding of what actually is going on here. And as I had the opportunity to witness and observe, there are a lot of things in our past which we just swept under the carpet, like perhaps a lot of traumatic experiences which we may be either, considered as not so traumatic, like we try to lighten them up, and maybe they were much harder for us than we let on, or there was just not an opportunity to integrate the experience. It got frozen in time, like life happened and we had to take responsibility for the circumstances we found ourselves in and stuff, and we didn't just have a time to fall apart and feel everything and to give ourselves time. Again, this Saturn popping its head out, give ourselves time to really feel and to go through the experience and to witness these messages that would come to us through the pain or through whatever our body was telling us. And sometimes there is just not time. We don't give ourselves time. Even like when we lose someone we love, there is still all these things that needs to be taken care of, and we have to go to work, and people who have kids have to take care of kids and all this. And we living in a time and age where everything is happening so fast. So even when things happen that require us to take a step back, slow down, and just feel and grieve, we don't really, like in many times, we don't really have the opportunity to do that. Like we don't give ourselves the permission to do that, because this life is so fast, and we feel that, oh my God, if I just fall apart here, and if I take a moment, if I take a week off, then the life will pass me by, right? There is a lot of FOMO going on in the world, like from all different directions, like targeting us and trying to make us feel that, oh, if I don't participate, I'm missing out, right? So that many times create this unhealed trauma. Like trauma happens and we don't have time to heal it and integrate it because the life keeps going and we have to go with it. So I really feel that with this Saturn going through the sign of Pisces and going back again, Saturn is again the ruler of Pluto being back in Capricorn, Pluto retrograde, Saturn is retrograde, which again is telling us about going back in time. And the resolution to Pluto square is the South Node. And now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video and also in my last video yesterday, which I posted on Instagram, that activated this Sun's sextile to North Node and at the same time trine to South Node activated this groundwater trine, which is happening, as I said again, between Sun, South Node and Saturn. And this is really fascinating to me, especially because, as I mentioned just before Sun moved into the sign of Cancer, it made in conjunction to Pluto. So this is again telling us there is a blind spot. There is something that we cannot see, that it's connected to our past, which is still making us feel stuck and disempowered and unable to move forward. Like there are all these energies streaming in. We have Venus in Leo, we have Mars in Leo, we have still Mercury in Gemini just about. And they're like, oh yeah, I can start thinking in this new expanded way and I can, live my life to the fullest. And then there is still this something that is holding us back, which you say, no, you can't, or saying like, you don't deserve, or I don't know, there is something, and I can observe it in my life, I can observe it in the life of my clients, I can observe it in the life of my friends and family and people that I speak to. There is still this something that is holding us back, that is like blocking us. Like, I really want this, I have this desire, but I can't, or I'm not able to, or there is something. And this Saturn going now retrograde, and it's part of this groundwater trine, right? And South Node is pointing to the past, either this early on in our life, or our childhood, or it could be past lives. It could be something unresolved from our past lives. And now I really feel with Saturn going through the Pisces, because Saturn in traditional astrology also represents our karma, I really feel that this is like time where so many people are trying to detangle this past karma, like we all going through these experiences which are triggering us, or like in a sense allowing us to go back in time. Like the trigger happens, and then, like if we are aware, then we go like, okay, why does this trigger me? Why does it bother me so much? Okay, let me investigate, Pluto, Scorpio, let me investigate, let me see what's there, like why is this happening? Or if our life is not reflecting to us what we want to experience, why is this happening? Okay, what is the lesson here? What do I need to change? What do I need to learn? So I feel, especially now with Mercury that has been going through the sign of Gemini, after it was in Taurus, for 2.5 months, it gave us the opportunity to really like think. And now with this new moon, the new moon that happened last week, it was squared by Neptune. That was the last quarter square, which was saying, okay, we want to really break free out of this. There is something in our mind, there is something in our programming that is keeping us stuck and unable to move forward. What is it? And now this groundwater trine is getting activated. Sun is going to be in Cancer until July 23rd. So this is the opportunity to feel into things, perhaps we need to go back, to look at our ancestor line or our childhood and our family, like what is the pattern here, what am I carrying on from my ancestor that is not even mine, and I like, thank you, I respect you, I love you for allowing me to be born into this family line, but I don't need this in my life anymore, it doesn't serve me. Like, what is it? Again, what is it? What is it that is keeping us feel stuck? What is it that is keeping us feel afraid of even, like giving us ourselves this permission to go into this unknown and just to trust the universe that, whatever is happening, whatever is going to happen, at some point it's going to be fine. It's going to happen for the highest good of everyone. But as I said, there is this something, and this groundwater trine is activating this us diving deep into our emotion and diving deep into the past, because majority of things that happening to us today are a reflection of the past. Majority of things that trigger us today, if not all of them, are not it's not the situation that's happening right now that is the problem. It's something that is unresolved from the past, and the situation that's happening right now, or the person that is triggering right now, is reminding me of someone else that caused a trauma, or cause a situation that is unhealed, is frozen in time. Saturn in Pisces, and now Saturn is going to be going through Pisces for 3 years. As we know, now it's in retrograde, and it's giving us this opportunity to really reflect, like, what is it of that past that is still holding me back? Like, why do I feel this way? Where is it coming from? Why do I think this way? Where is it coming from? And as I said, there is this square tomorrow. There is this square tomorrow on Sunday. There is a square between Mercury and Neptune, but in this case, it's a first quarter square, and this one is the one that requires us to take an action. So again, Neptune is the ruler of the Saturn. Saturn is retrograde, in Pisces, and again, it's this looking backwards, looking in the past. Pluto is going retrograde, so again, looking in the past. What is it? What is it in the past that created this structure of my reality that I'm living in right now? And what is it that I need to heal, because it doesn't serve me and it doesn't support me on this path going forward, because it's creating this repetition, as I mentioned previously, this copy-paste, like recreating the same experience. And this is not what I want anymore. It's not what I need anymore. Like, we are entering a completely new evolutionary cycle for all of us, individually and collectively. And that's why I really, really feel that this is a transitionary year where we have to look back. We got the flavor of what future could be like, potentially. I know for a lot of people there was this maybe conscious or subconscious feeling that something new is coming. And, it's kind of like a little bit of an excitement, like, oh, like it must be better than what is now, but it's still like, it's like making us insecure. It's this Aries archetype, right? Like, there is no previous experience, because that which is coming, we never experienced before. So it's like this unknown is making us insecure and a little bit afraid, but we have to be brave, we just have to be brave to face it. But in order to be brave, in order to be Aries, we have to resolve the past cycle, which is the Pisces. And now Saturn, the master of karma, the master of time, the last visible conscious planet, it's in Pisces. So it's allowing us to bring back all this past and allowing us to heal it and integrate it, so it doesn't rule our future anymore. So there are no skeletons in a closet, no shadows in the subconscious. Well, I mean, there always will be shadows in our life, but these particular ones that are holding us back, that maybe now is the time when we need to deal with them. And as I can see in my practice with my clients, for a lot of people, this is exactly what's happening. Like, things from many, many decades ago, or even things from childhood that, person having a conversation with me and suddenly they go, oh, I never thought about it that way. It never clicked, and it was always there, but I never thought about it that way. And maybe this is the shift that needed to happen in order for the things to be healed, integrated, and put to rest, put to rest, like Pisces, we putting them to rest, we giving them back to the source, because this lesson now has been learned. We don't need to repeat it again. And in this age of Aquarius and Pluto going through Aquarius, and especially once Uranus goes into Gemini in 2026, I feel everything is going to accelerate it so much that we really have to prepare for it. And this is for me too, this is all of us, that we really have to, we really won't have we won't be able to be held back by the past, because it's just going to be too much. So I really feel that this is the time where things are kind of on a pause, also with all the planets one after the other coming into retrograde. And by September, pretty much all of them will be going retrograde. The last one joining will be Jupiter. And we have Neptune starting retrograde now at the end of the month. For some of us, people in here in Europe and Australia, it will be 1st of July already. But Neptune is going to go into retrograde. And this is again, is going to slow back the time. It's going to again tell us, like, what is it? What is it that lost meaning? Why is it lost meaning? What is it that got hurt and needs to be healed? Because this Virgo and Pisces are the archetypes of healing and integrating and letting go, transcending this matrix. So we don't have to carry the wound into another life, this karma, right? And also Moon is going through Virgo right now. It's going through Virgo during this weekend. And as we know, during the time when a Sun moved into Cancer, it was in Leo. So there was this mutual reception. So again, this is pointing me back to the childhood. Leo, the child, the inner child. And that's why I feel that this is something that many people are seeking right now. The inner child healing, the ancestor healing. And actually I have a very good friend who can actually offer you. I have actually two friends, because another does family constellation. I put the links below. But yeah, I really recommend it. I personally have both. I've had the ancestor healing, and I also had the family constellation, and it's been very helpful to me. And these are layers and layers, and it could be layers and layers of not even your lifetime. Right here, it could be just something that's been passed on from previous lines of the bloodline, of the family line, something that was unresolved by the previous generation, and now we just carry all this stuff. And that's why I feel that for many of us, life feels so heavy, because we even go like, why do I feel so heavy? Like, you know, it's not even mine. And I feel that because we're carrying the baton from our ancestors, and now is the time to resolve it, because coming into this new era, there is something new that needs to be created, and we just don't have the privilege. We won't have the opportunity to go back and heal it in the same way that we have now, because everything will be even more accelerated. So again, I really feel that right now, especially with these guys taking the positions as they are, you know, this grand water trine be activated, the exact trine between Saturn and Sun will take place next week on Wednesday. And this is a beautiful harmonious aspect when the Sun is highlighting to us, you know, our emotions, what no longer makes us feel safe maybe, or what stopped making us safe and we didn't even realize, and it just needs to be adjusted. We need to feel into it. We need to rediscover what is our home, how do we feel within our body. And the Saturn is going to help us heal it, dissolve it if necessary, or heal it. Or also, as I keep saying, call the old fractals of ourselves, which we had to divorce pretty much. Call them back to become whole again, to become integrated, so we can start this new cycle without all these fragments of energy floating around the space, maybe still being attached to other people or memories. As I said, a lot of things are frozen in time, where we never got past that experience. Like even a lot of people, like the way they're acting in a very subconscious way and lashing out and stuff, it's the unhealed inner child, that the child they used to be, that got frozen in time, that never got to heal. And that's why, you know, the world looks the way it does. It's just a lot of unhealed children ruling the world in a high position and recreating the trauma. They re-traumatizing themselves and everyone else with them, because there is a lot of wounding going on in the world. And Chiron is in Aries, telling us that we can absolutely start this new cycle. You know, Mars being in Leo, the ruler, saying that, you know, we just have to trust and give ourselves permission and believe that we're worthy, and we can follow this purpose and destiny that we feel that we are here to follow. And as we know, Mars just made a trine to Chiron. Venus will make a trine to Chiron again next week, but it's already active. It just will happen exactly like within the degree next week. So there are a lot of beautiful aspects, happening. And I feel even the squares that are happening, the square between Neptune and Mercury that's taking place tomorrow, just before Mercury moves into Cancer the day later, which again is quite significant, because Mercury again going into water sign will again make us to reconnect with ourselves, just as it did when it was in Taurus. And then on Monday we have the exact square between Mars and Uranus, which we have been feeling since this new moon. This has been in place, and this is again something that wants us to take an action, something that wants us to break free. Like I'm in this situation where my needs are not being met, like, or I'm not being respected or appreciated, and then this Mars is saying like, well, it's up to you. You need to stand up for yourself. You know, like Mars, I have to act on this. And again, Mars is pointing to Leo. Like, you know, sometimes like we do have to put ourselves first, because if you don't, who will? And yeah, it's just again the same message is streaming through. But I really, really feel that these things that are holding us back are actually, that's much deeper than just, okay, this is this job or this boyfriend that I no longer want. I think it's nothing to do with right now. You know, like, yes, the right now is a reflection of the past, but I think the real thing that needs healing is going way back in time, because even the fact that I ever would accept to do a job which I hate, and is draining my soul, like that's a reflection of something else. Like, why would I feel I don't deserve anything better? Why would I feel that I just cannot go out there and do what I enjoy? Which, like, yes, I totally understand. We need to make money and we need to feed some children in our house and we need to pay rent and all that kind of things. I totally get it. But I know from my personal experience and also observing my family, there are a lot of people who are doing job they really hate and job that is literally killing them on daily basis. And I mean, if we really do love and respect ourselves, why would we do that to ourselves? Because at the end of the day, we decide, we have the choice, despite the fact how difficult that choice sometimes must be, but we always have a choice. And that's why I feel with all these planetary placements at the moment, and especially with Sun now that will be going through the sign of Cancer for a month, and Mercury just about to move into Cancer, and is going to, of course, conjunct Sun, in the sign of Cancer, and is going to sextile the North Node as soon as it moves into Cancer. This is all telling us the same thing. We need to reconnect with ourselves. We need to trust ourselves. We need to know ourselves. We need to feel into what it is that is driving our life and what is triggering us and why. And I really, really feel that the past is the resolution. The South Node in Scorpio. And Pluto is being ruled by Saturn. Pluto retrograde, Saturn retrograde, Pluto in Capricorn, Saturn in Pisces is all saying the same thing. What has created the structure of your life that was based on circumstances of the past, which no longer serves us? So we need to go back into the past and find out what it is that is frozen in time that is still creating our reality. This matrix, the matrix is matrix. Matrix is, your reflection of us. But I mean, our individual reality, our life right now, your relationships, your jobs, your relationship with your children, with your parents, with your boyfriend, with your friends, your relationship with yourself. Why is it the way it is? What is behind the structure that created it? And there is a belief system. There is a thinking pattern. There are feelings towards ourselves and others. And this is what we really need to analyze these months, especially Mercury. Once it moves into the sign of Cancer, the analyzing will be on a very emotional level again. Maybe we will get triggered much more. Maybe we will get much more sensitive, much more emotional. And this is all to serve us, to make us, because like a lot of us, myself included, like we desensitize ourselves, we disconnect, we detached from the reality that we live in. We just go through the motion because sometimes that's the only way. Sometimes that's the only way to survive. Even when something really tragic happens to us, sometimes we just cannot process it all at once. And that's why it then becomes subconscious. It gets like that's like a scar in our body that we might not even see, scar like in your insides. And then that's why I feel that now with displacement, with the sun, going through Cancer and activated this ground water trine, and now Mercury that is going to move into Cancer, but first it's going to make this square to Neptune, which, like I said, is just happening 1 degree off from the place where the new moon happened. So this is again, something got activated. And I really feel that people are starting to shift the way they think. They're starting to ask questions, and they're starting to ask questions, especially with regards to their lives. Why does my life look this way? What got me to this point? What made me to create it the way it is? And why do I feel I can't have anything other than this? And if I do believe I can, how am I going to do it? What needs to change? What needs to shift? But first and foremost, what needs to be healed from the past that is still dictating my present? So I feel this is exactly this is what I'm tapping into. I'm not saying this is what's happening for everyone, but this is my interpretation of the energies, and also with the aspects that are happening right now and coming up. I feel that this is, like, for me, from my point of view, this is the interpretation of the energies. And I can also observe how this is playing out in a lot of people's life that I'm interacting with. But then again, as I mentioned before, whatever you believe, you see it reflecting in your reality. You see the proof for it. So this is my belief. I believe that collectively, we are going through collective healing, an opportunity for a healing of a lot of unhealed wounding from the past. And a lot of it is to do with our childhood, our inner child, and ancestor lines. like family lines, family healing, you know, for which I really feel that this energetic healing of the healing in a child and the ancestor healing, which, as I said, I will put the link below for my good friend Marisa. She's amazing at this, so I really recommend it. She uses energetic healing. Her main guide is Metatron, Archangel Metatron, and also my very good friend Haley from South Africa. She does the family constellation. And for me personally, this was a shifting point when I gave myself the permission to follow the path which I believe is the right path for me, which is very different from the rest of my family. But through that session that I had with Haley, a lot of things clicked for me. And I understood that what I'm doing is not just for me, but it's for all the women in my family who didn't have the opportunity to do that. And for many of us, it's the same thing. For many of you women out there, we are carrying the wounds of our mothers and grandmothers, the suffering, you know, this feeling of guilt and shame that we cannot break free. And there is this need for healing. There is this need for forgiveness, even for them, like they did the best they could with what they had available at the time. But we live in different times. We have different choices, different options, and we need to give ourselves permission to live freer life where we can follow the path that we feel is the right one for us without feeling that we betray our ancestors, because they love us, they support us from the other side, they want the best for us, and the best looks different than what they thought was best for them, because the time has changed, everything moved, but there is still this wounding of the past that is influencing our present. So let's heal it, and let's not have it imprison us in our future as well. Like, it doesn't have to create our future. So that's why we are in this moment of now, which is allowing us to heal the past, so we can move forward without all these wounds. And also with this square between Uranus and Mars that's happening on Monday, this is again an opportunity, you know, opportunity to break free, opportunity to take an action, whether it's just an action of booking a session with a counselor, or, like I said, with an energetic healer. As you know, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there. I am just recommending the people that I've had a session with myself, and I know that they are excellent at what they do. But there are a lot of people out there that could help, and I feel that this is the time exactly for that. You know, if we ever were to invest into anything, investing in ourselves is the best investment, because it's going to influence the rest of your life. So anyway, guys, this is a very deep theme, but trust me, you know, observing these shifts that are happening in people who, you know, had to carry these wounds and struggles all their lives, it is very humbling, you know. And for me, I'm very humbled that I'm the person that has been, you know, given, you know, this, like the spirit gives it to me, the message to give to these people that can create that shift for them. So I am very humbled by the experience, and it's also teaching me a lot about myself and about my own unhealed wounding and unhealed inner child. And as I said, Virgo is in, you know, Moon is in Virgo this weekend. So that's supporting us on this healing path because just before Moon will move further into the sign of Libra, it will trine Pluto. So again, Moon in a tarot, Moon also like reflects the past, isn't it? The shout out from the past. So what is it in the past that is calling to us and wants us to look at and heal and integrate and feel into, right? So anyway, guys, I leave it at that. 33 minutes again. Seems to be the magical number for me at the moment. And yeah, I will try to post this today. If not today, tomorrow. It will be out this weekend. And yeah, I'll keep you posted next week as we go along with all these transits that are becoming exact next week. But tomorrow is the Mercury square to Neptune becoming exact. On Monday is the square between Mars and Uranus. And then we go along, right? At the same day, actually, is the Mercury moving into the sign of Cancer. So yeah, so there is no coincidence, you know? Your self-love, your inner child, and Mercury moving into Cancer to help you to feel into all of that. So, okay, guys, have a wonderful weekend. Sending everybody much love. I hope that this gave you some insights with regards to what you might be experiencing yourselves, because I feel this is a collective energy. and I'll speak to you soon. Much love. Bye.